Bike repair stand, says it right there. This is actually a very useful item. Please watch the full video. You'll see though, there's a bit of a challenge when your e-bike weighs 75 pounds. If you got a rad rover, you're gonna reconsider some options. So hopefully you'll find this interesting. These are the specs on this particular model that I purchased. I don't know about you, but when I buy things, I tend to go set them up and go, that looks cool, and I throw the box away. And then I realize later, I'm like, oh man, there's a better one maybe. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go through a super quick unboxing. I don't wanna bore you with all the details. It's a bike stand, it's nothing glamorous. And I go through all the steps putting it together, and then you get to see me put my bike on there. So hang out and take it for a spin. All right, and here's the finished product. So it's really easy to put together. Most of the parts are made of a metal, and this is the arm that will hold either the forks of the bike or the handlebars. It actually is very handy to have something like that. This part sticks out. This tube, this upper tube sticks out, and this is the vice clamp that you can put on various parts of your bike. So to put the seat post or something like that, and that part works very well. The rubber pieces though are plastic, like the piece here that's holding it is plastic. I do wish it were grooved. That's one change I would have liked to have seen, but it isn't. So because of the weight of the bike, it doesn't quite hold it at the angles you want it. Like gravity takes in the weight and it kind of holds, kind of bends it down more. It did hold it, but it struggled and didn't put it exactly at the angle that I was looking to have it at. Okay, then if we focus in on that tray, it doesn't hold as much as I'd like it to, or the things that I have related to bikes, like this wrench. Really, my phone just went off. It's just not practical. I couldn't find anywhere, and this is just to tighten up pedals. You know, that's all. This is a pedal wrench. I mean, this is nothing like that crazy. I put other things in there like screwdriver and various other things, but in fact I found it a little awkward. I guess depending on what you're working on, you could consider it, you know, nice to have something. Here it is with my, I think it's a 45-pound bike, e-bike on here. I did remove the battery so it was lighter. And then here's the bar that holds the handlebars or the forks, either way you want to hold it, and that worked out really well. Made it very balanced. You can see the bike is completely off the ground. You do have to have the strength to do that. It also pivots. See how I'm able to just with one hand just kind of shift the bike over, and I can then have access to the other side. So I can work on both sides just by pivoting it back and forth. In my example, I have it against the wall, but this could be pulled out from the wall. It's also fully collapsible, which you can also see online. They've got some images of that as well. Okay, now we're actually going to get a workout. This is the Rad Rover, and again, for me to get this bike up onto this stand, what I had to do, you'll see the seat post has been extended, so I've got a place to do that. But that is a heavy bike. That's not a lot of fun. And then what ends up happening is I should have locked into place that arm, which I think I end up doing, yes. And so once you lock that in place, then that's not going to twist. To brace the bike, this really would work so much better with two people. And then I've got it narrow enough to where I can now tighten it. Now I'm trying to not have that red plastic piece kind of get too jacked up, because again, the part that's holding the seat has got a bolt on it, so you've got a lot of force that's kind of fighting against each other. And then I finally get it up there. So it does, again, I'm able to get this to where it's working, but there's a lot of effort, and that's where something that is like a pulley system that comes from the ceiling. I saw some of those, and I'll show you towards the end here. But this did work. It shows that it worked. But then here's what I'm talking about. See how this part is plastic, and it just kind of eventually it ends up actually popping off, so I had to put it back on. Not a big deal, but you know, it's just, I don't know. It depends on, I think, what your situation is in your garage. The pulley system, you have to bolt that into the ceiling, and that's a little bizarre. I mean, you've got to know what the heck you're doing, because that could come down, and that wouldn't be good. Now let's just fast forward through with me fighting with gravity and weight, trying to get this thing to be in the position that I'd like it to be in. And this is just any kind of, I think these types of stands that are based on the ground, you're going to run into that. All right, so in typical form, I read afterwards, this bike stand has a max weight of 66 pounds. The rad is 75. So if you look at it in this respect, it did a pretty good job. They probably don't recommend it above that just because to lift a bike off the ground, and I think this is really where I'm going at, to lift a heavy bike like the rad off the ground is really a challenge in and of itself. It has nothing to do with this bike stand at all. It's a very decent bike stand. Here's a close-up of what the rad did to the little rubber piece there, so not the end of the world. I'm still going to keep it. I own it now, threw the box out. It's, again, not meant for something that's above 66, but even with the other bike, it's still awkward. You still have to lift it up. So if I were to do this again, I probably would go with one that is the pulley system, where you hoist up the bike. It actually would take way less room. You also could store it that way. Would be easy to pedal. The only thing you would have to do is probably have some sort of little arm to like hold the bike so it's not bouncing against the wall if you're trying to, like, you know, tune the gears or something like that. So in closing, I hope this helps, gives you maybe another perspective of what these little things are like. And in general, I love the idea of it. In execution for a heavier e-bike, though, I think I would probably need to consider another option.